Welcome to The Purpose Effect, the space where we get honest, we get intentional, and we get aligned with the life God has designed for us. I am Alesha, and I'm your host on Mondays, and my co-host David on Wednesdays, and on Fridays we do it together. Our mission is simply, guys, to help you stop floating through life and start living with purpose and intention, clarity, and action. You guys, with that being said, I have an amazing guest here today, and I am so excited to have her on. Just recently, we actually both got to speak at an amazing women's conference, and I tell you, she is dynamite. Absolute dynamite. You are going to instantly fall in love with her just like I did. Let me introduce you guys to Kandra Sanchez. She is an inner healing life coach, author, wife, and mother who helps women walk in their authentic freedom. A former hairstylist of 15 years turned therapist. Now, I would say that is so accurate. My sister is a hairstylist, and she definitely is more of a therapist as well. So I love that. Her passion for healing was born in the salon chair and refined through her studies in psychology and her own post-divorce healing journey. She is also the author of Imperfectly In Process. You guys, it is my greatest privilege to welcome Kandra here. Hello, sweet friend. How are you?
Hello, I'm great now. Listen, the pre-talk has completely just, we are of the same heart, I
We
swear.
are.
Because it was like instantly when I was just like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Let me just soak her in for a minute so that this is great. So, yeah, I'm great. I'm so grateful to be here. And yeah,
Well,
just,
I am excited to have you. So let's start with, where did this all start? As I'm reading your bio and everything, like there's a lot to unpack in how God has shown you your purpose in life. Where did you start going, wait, I think I'm meant for more than just even doing hair?
yeah, that was really like a process of like, almost trying to go against the river because when you graduate high school, you're kind of like, what am I going to do with my life? I was a great candidate for law school, loved to debate people under the table, but it was like, it doesn't feel right now. So then I was like, hair, this is it. So I started doing hair. And then in the process of just the years and years of doing hair, like all my customer service training, all the like workshops I would do, all of them were geared to more than just doing hair. They were like, you're not just a hairstylist. You're creating an experience. Not even when they go to their therapist do they touch them. So you're creating. So it was like all of these things were like telling me, you're doing more than just hair. And in the years of all my clients being like, oh my gosh, Kandra, every time I sit in your chair, it's like you have completely just, I don't know. It's just so unexplainable. And then I'm like talking, like I've seen people through divorces, like funerals, like weddings, like you see people like miscarriages, people through so many stages of life. And like some people, it's, oh, my mom just died and I need to just have a moment before I go home and tell my kids grandma's gone. So can you do my hair? Literally wash it and stuff. And you're like, yeah, like you're so just I just remember sometimes like my clients, like even my mom, she would say things about herself and I would be like, hold on, but that's not true. Let's take a minute. Where'd you hear that from? Who told you this? And I'd be walking people through like healing and then all of a sudden people are crying in my chair. I'm like, okay, so I'm doing this and I'm just not actually doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
I think that's
yeah.
super powerful because and I tell this to people all the time, your career or your job isn't necessarily your purpose. It's
Yes.
a tool to
Yeah.
walk out your purpose. And your purpose is to help people dig deep, to help them have these, even like creating awareness, or to just have a safe space, to just have a space where they can feel comfortable, to just sometimes let it go and just, okay, and that's powerful that you have that and that you have that connection. So from doing hair, then it sounds like it's prompted you to dig a little deeper and do some more, like I know you said you authored a book and then
Yes.
also you do some coaching. How did that come about?
Yeah, honestly, probably when I was married about it's almost been 11 years ago now. I was married and I felt like God was wanting me to like coach people. And I felt like this was like, this is, and I thought, oh, maybe it'll be like a husband and wife. We do it as a team. But honestly, we were not aligned at all. Like the only thing me and my ex-husband did was worship. Everything else was very abusive and chaotic and just it was really bad. It's written in the book, but it's a whole nother thing. And so I was like, okay, so this is just mine. This so God, what how am I supposed to walk this out? And I didn't really feel confident enough to do it. I wanted to take this life coaching course. We didn't have the money to do it. He didn't want to funnel money into it. And I'm like, okay, so this isn't a thing. And then after my divorce, I just was like, no, I need to pursue healing for me. And I also need to just start writing down what God is showing me and just let it out. Like, messy. Just write it all out. Like, thoughts don't have to be all together. And it was like, even saying that, I felt so much like shame about it because it was like, Kendra, what do you have to show the world? Like, you don't have a polished book. You're in the middle of the messiest, ugliest divorce. Like, you're a mess. Like, you don't have a book to write for the world. And it was like, that shame was like what kept the book on the shelf for so long because it was like, no, you read transformation books and it's always, I was this, now I'm completely different. And it
Yeah.
was like there's no books written from the I'm still in this, still writing this story out with the Lord. And some days it's messy, some days it's good. And I was like, there needs to be more transparent, vulnerable, raw material out there for people who don't feel like they're gold yet. They feel like they're still in the fire, getting refined, but they still love Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to speak to.
Oh, I love that. And it's interesting that you talk about Satan wants to shame all of us. And I look at even just in life in general, he wants us to be either filled with shame or anxiety or fear and to keep us really from walking out that purpose. And you think of how
Yes.
many others are in that moment. And when you being vulnerable and being uncomfortable, you were willing to share it and go, wait a second. First off, Satan, you have no control. So back off.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
also, God, use me to
Mhm.
walk out and to help inspire others. I think that
Yeah.
is such a powerful thing. And my hope is that people begin to realize your purpose, it's going to require you to get uncomfortable. It's going to require you to push into areas that you don't necessarily want to. And it's
Yeah.
really hard. It's
Yeah.
not easy,
No,
but it's worth it.
it is.
And I think when you begin to lean into that, God goes, oh, see, Kendra, you're listening to me. I'm going to
Mhm.
bless you even more. I'm going to
Yeah.
open some more doors and I'm
Yeah.
going to do some more things in your life because I go back to the parable of the master and giving his servants the talents and
Yeah.
how two of them went and did stuff with it and the other
Mhm.
one's like I'm just going to bury it and keep it safe. And that's where I lived for a long time too. It's like I was just floating through life. I was like, no, I got these talents and this purpose, but I don't want to use
Mhm.
I'm going to bury it.
Yep.
And,
Yes.
and then the master comes back and says, what did you do? What? You just buried it? And so I love how you took what you were going through. You took even your job, walking out that purpose, digging deeper, leaning into what God's showing you, and now inspiring so many others. So then it sounds like from there, you also got into life coaching.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so when did that happen as you were writing the book and going through the divorce, or how did that all play out?
Yeah, so during my divorce, when I was pursuing my healing journey, I tried therapy, traditional therapy. I wanted to pursue my own bachelor's in psychology, so I enrolled in schooling for that for the bachelor's program. But it was like I had so many therapists, Christian and non, and I was just like, these are great, but I feel almost more, am I just helpless to this pain and helpless to I need some deep rewiring. And so I just began to ask God, I need you to send me the truth and how to unlock this. I don't care the package that it's in. I really don't care. I just need the truth of how to unlock these emotions, like how I'm stuck, my body, my mind, and my soul, because I just need the truth. I don't want therapy. I don't want medication. I need the truth. And so he began to show me bring people in my life and bring podcasts. And so I did sign up with, it's a program called Stumble Consulting. They're life coaches. They're not traditional therapists. And oh my goodness, oh my gosh, I am so grateful because in 14 weeks, with the power of the Holy Spirit, these people literally helped me walk through the darkest season of my life. In 14 weeks, what like five therapists and like many years of therapy could not do for me, in 14 weeks they did. And it was just, that was what was good for me. And so I was like, okay, I want to do this for other people. And at the time, my first person that I was walking this out with was my daughter, because I'm a mess going through a divorce. And I'm like, honey, your emotions are big. Mommy's got big emotions. We got to learn how to just process through this. So it was literally me and her regulating our nervous systems together. Put your hand on mommy's heart. Let's breathe. And oh, she's having a tantrum. Let's walk through it. Like, it was her and we were our first just troubleshooting how to walk this out together, because we were in the trenches together. It was me and her. And so it was like the process of, okay, I want to do this. What did this actually look like with the Lord? Because I believe there's so many great therapy and behavioral studies out there, but it's like, I always take it back to the original designer. God designed our brains. God gave us these emotions. So it's like, I always take everything that I learned in psychology. I was like, okay, God, but what was your design for this? This is how it works. Science knows, but you already knew. What was your design? And so it was like, okay, how do I unlock that? How do I partner with the Holy Spirit and do that? And so it was a lot of me just walking it out with my family, my daughter, my mom, my sisters, telling them, this is what I'm experiencing. This is what God's showing me. This is how I got breakthrough and forgiveness, because forgiving my ex-husband, oh my gosh, that was so hard. And it was like, but I need to be free of this. I need to be free of this weight. And so it was like unlocking different things, walking it out and sharing it was literally how I started realizing I need to do this. And all my friends and family were like, why aren't you doing this? Like, why aren't you doing this? I was like, I don't know. I just don't feel ready. I'm not there yet. I kept saying, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I need more schooling. I need a certification. And I remember the time that the Lord was like, I allowed you to go to school for psychology. I didn't say you had to. And I was like, okay. Okay, but I really think the knowledge is helpful. I think the degree is helpful. He said, yep. But I don't want people to think you're doing what you're doing because you're so smart, because you've got the degrees, because you've got the piece of paper. He said, people don't need to validate that. He said, I've anointed you to just do it. And I was like, oh, so are we done with school, or can I finish? That's up to you. I was like, okay. But I'm like, oh, God in his kindness is just whatever you want to do. But I never said you needed that stamp. And I was like, okay, all right.
Oh, that's so powerful. I think what I love is even in hearing your story, when we go through some of those darkest times and it's so hard to see beyond that. It's so hard because it's just so much hurt and so much pain. And what I've really learned over the last few years is the power of just switching perspective. Of it's not necessarily the situation's going to change, but instead of going from, oh my goodness, woe is me, this is so horrible, oh my goodness, versus, God, what are you going to do? How are you going to use this? How are you going to use me to impact others in this situation? What can I learn from it? And clearly, God showed you in those darkest moments part of your purpose and how to walk it out and to really trust in Him. And I love even how you talk about then you walked your daughter through it too. Like you two lived by example what God was showing you, and what a powerful thing to be able to do that and to really take those moments and go, okay, God, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And digging into your identity. I think that's so important. And we can't do it without the Lord. Like I go back to that over and over again. Like, how can I know my purpose and my identity if I don't base it on the one that gave me the purpose and the one that gave me the identity?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
can't. Or I'm just going to be floating.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just think that's so powerful. So what are some lessons that you have learned then in this process of being a coach, being an author, being, I know, newly remarried, which is just
Yes.
so awesome. I got to meet your husband. What an amazing
He's
guy.
cute. Yeah, yeah. The things that I learned, which were probably the hardest ones for me, was trusting. Not that I never doubted that God was good. I never doubted his goodness. When my marriage was falling apart, when I was going through all the things, when the court seemed to be like literally going against me, it was like I never doubted God's goodness, which is so weird to say. I was always like, God, I know you're good. This doesn't feel good. And I'm really having a hard time trusting that you've got me. It was like, I just was like, I know it in my head, but I don't feel it. So help me figure out what I have to do. So for me, the things that helped me stay centered in like bringing me back was, for one, I don't care what the connection looked like with God, I was always fighting for that connection. So for me, it's, oh, I can't even sit down to read my Bible because I'm so afraid of the God I'm going to encounter in those pages right now. But I need to connect with God. So God, can you please just come and sit with me and be with me? I don't have energy to read the scripture right now. Can you just sit with me and be with me? And he was so faithful. He would engage with me. He would encounter me every time. And then it was like some days I could read. There was months where I couldn't even worship. And I am a worship leader. I am a worshiper. I am a psalmist. But for months, I couldn't even worship. I couldn't even turn on Christian radio because worship just felt like this is all a lie right now because I'm not feeling it and I'm not going to fake it. And I couldn't listen to worship music. I couldn't sing. And then it was like, okay, God said, you got to sing your way through some of this. You got to worship your way through some of this. And so it was literally like connection with God was number one. You have to fight to stay connected to him, whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be Sunday school perfect. Just fight to stay connected to the source of life. And so that was number one. And then number two was fighting to stay connected to the people around me that were pouring fire on my passions, on my dreams, on the truth. They were literally saying, I know this feels like this, but it's not going to be like this always. It's okay. Show up messy. You don't have to, girl, don't even comb your hair. I remember like my sister-in-law being like, girl, do not let this make you lose your job, make you lose your house. She said, you get up, you take a shower, you put it on. And she knew that's what I needed that day. But I knew there was also some people that said, if you need me to just come sit in your house and just sit with you until the darkness passes, I will just sit in your house. You don't have to say anything. Like, I had people show up in ways that were so beautiful. And they said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be messy. Show up messy. We don't need you to be polished and say, I'm fine. You're not fine, and it's okay. So, two, staying connected to people was so important because there's no way I could have been this far in my healing without my family and my church family and my friends that some of them don't even know Jesus. But they said, Kandra, the way that you were being an example of a good friend to us, knowing all the things you were going through, inspired us to show up for you. And I was like, really? Because I felt like I was being a horrible friend. But they said, you were showing up for us in the midst of your storm. And it was like, you were like, girl, can I bring you soup? Can I bring you? And so I was like, wow, I didn't realize that. But community is important. And that's always been important to me. But through my healing, it was like, oh man, some people just fed your soul just by being around them. And so that was important. And then knowing that healing and everything, your purpose, everything that you're walking out, there's no end date and there's really no start date. From the day we were like thought up in the beginning of time, even if we weren't doing, our purpose was already written on us. So we don't have to be like, okay, I'm supposed to be at this point by this time. Because I kept feeling, oh, my marriage ended. Well, there goes my purpose. There goes my journey. I'm just too far behind. There's no way. And it was like God was telling me, I never said a deadline. You're going to be on this journey for the rest of the time that you're on this side of eternity. So just embrace it. Just embrace it. And that actually freed me because I felt like I was so far behind and so far off. And this is a journey. I didn't say there was an end destination. Just keep taking a step and you're right where you need to be. So that was so like helpful to me, and it didn't feel heavy because I could not handle heavy. So yeah, those are my key takeaways from just the whole process.
But I think the beauty in that is looking at God met you where you were.
Mhm.
Oftentimes we think, oh my goodness, I got to come to the Lord when I am in a good spot
Yeah.
or when I finally have it all figured out. Newsflash, we don't ever necessarily have it figured out. Like
Never. Never.
and even the more I dig into scripture and God and what he's wanting from us and how much he loves us, the more I realize just how much I don't know versus how much I do know. But I
Yeah.
just knowing, and I think the power in that of recognizing that God meets us where we're at
Mm.
also impacts the fact that, and you even shared this in your story with your friends, of how we are meant to do the same with others, is
Mhm.
meet them where they're at
Yeah.
and love them through it and help walk them through it as well, just like God does for us over and over again. And he doesn't expect perfection. He just expects obedience and
Mm.
leaning into him and that connection. And when you put those together, and I think then it always goes back to our identity and being able to understand that God has who we are in him,
Yeah.
basing that identity on who he says, not how I feel, not where I feel at that moment, because we oftentimes have life based on how I'm feeling. And I'll tell you, if I base my actions, my life on how I feel, it's not going to turn out well.
Yeah. We're
But
going
you
nowhere fast.
saw that. Oh, that's just, it's powerful. What an amazing story. And just how you really went back to God, what do you want me to do with this? And how does it play out? So now, where do you see God taking you in your purpose now? Like, where I know one of the things that you did at this conference was so powerful is the spoken word. I mean,
Yeah.
that, oh my goodness, like that just, I mean, that was powerful. But where else do you see God taking you? What's the next part of your journey?
I am still always asking God, like, my favorite thing to say is God can always blow the direction of a ship that's already moving. And so sometimes I have these ideas and I'm like, okay, God, I want to do this. And he doesn't give me the green light or a red light. He just is. And then so I start doing it and I was like, oh, so really we're supposed to do this. Got it. So honestly, I've been doing spoken word since I was really young, like growing up in church. And it's just something that I have a passion for. And I remember getting a prophetic word maybe 6, 7 years ago. And he said, you're supposed to get some sort of content out there. I don't know if you write poetry or writing a book or so I'm like, oh, okay. And every year at the conference, people are asking, do you have this recorded somewhere? And I'm like, okay, no, I don't. So next would I write music, I write so many things. And it's okay, God, tell me in this season what you want me to record and put out for audio so that people can absorb it audibly. So that for me, I see a lot of things being released so that I can speak truth over people, because a lot of those spoken words is literally just speaking truth. Like it's almost like in the Psalms when David's like, "How long, Lord, are you going to let these enemies attack me?" And then he says, "But I am
Mhm.
confident." And then he starts just downloading truth after truth. That's how I feel about spoken word. So I want to do that so people who may not even know what spoken word, like, ever heard of it before, they just click it on Spotify one day. And now God is encountering them with truth. So I think that's the next steps for me is getting my spoken word out there in conjunction with my book. I also want to release a song entitled each chapter of my book so that people can really absorb the heart behind what each chapter felt like writing it. So I want to write a song for each chapter. So there's hopefully going to be a single or two, an album or two released for that. But yeah, so those are two things that I think of. My sister and I years ago had a podcast idea that we wanted to start, and that's always been in the back of my mind. And I've always been like, okay, God, just when you say it's time and we'll do it. But for now, I just know that I want to get as many people an encounter with God that I can. And truthfully, our world is they're hungry for something real. They're hungry for authentic encounters. There's so many, you can Google spiritual stuff, and there's so many dark, scary things out there, and it's not fulfilling. And so my thing is, I want to be the person that can reach those people. I remember sitting in, I was like doing an open mic night. And I remember I'm like thinking, God, what am I doing here? This bar, this tarot card reader comes up to me and asked if I want a reading. And I said, no, I'm good, but have a seat. And I literally had the most amazing conversation with this woman and still am in contact with her now. And I was able to talk to her about the Lord and introduce her to the Lord. And it's those are people I want to get in front of Jesus. Like people that are looking for him, but they don't know they're looking for him. People that are so desperate for healing and they don't know what type of healing they need until I introduce them to Jesus. And I'm like, this is what you're looking for. This is what
Yeah.
you're missing. Man, I mean, that alone, like my husband asked me once and he said, what would be the gift you'd want to give to the world? And I was like, man, healing. I want everyone to experience healing from the Lord. I said, because that I think would help way more than a lot of the other things, me just being kind, me just doing whatever. People need healing. And he's like, okay, that's what you're meant to do then.
And I think the powerful thing with that, Kandra, is because you've gone through heartache, because you've gone through really hard times in life, you understand the power of healing, right? Like you understand what God wants to do. And one thing I want to hit on before we wrap this up is you said something specifically how you had gone to all these counselors and nothing was really, all these therapists, nothing was really changing. And then you found this program and in 14 weeks, God did it. We oftentimes think, our healing and finding our purpose is going to take years and years, and it's so overwhelming, so people just don't even do it. And you are such a powerful example of lean into it, seek God, watch how he can restore you in such a quick amount of time. It doesn't have to be years. It can take even days, even hours. God can come in and heal in the most miraculous, profound way if we lean into him, if we're open to it. And gosh, what an amazing story. And I just so appreciate you. Now, if somebody, one, where can they find your book? And how do they find you if they want to go, hey, you know what? Gosh, I really connected to her. I want to look at a little bit into this coaching, this life coaching. How do they get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Yes, so I am on Instagram and Facebook. I have a TikTok if that's your thing. I have a Patreon, but the biggest thing is you can find all of that on my Instagram page, Kandra Healing, or just type in Kandra Sanchez and that'll pull up my page and you can go to my link tree and set up. My first call for healing sessions are always free. So if you set up to do a healing session with me, the first one is always free because I believe everybody should have access to healing. And I don't believe that finances should be a barrier. So the first one is always free. And then they get to experience God and decide, is this the path that I need right now to continue on? And yeah, so book, it's really so low risk that it's like just you have nothing to lose. And I love that because that's how Jesus is. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose except the weight of all the things we've been carrying. Kandra Healing, Kandra Sanchez on Facebook. And you can find my link tree and book a session. I would love, love, love to do one. So yeah.
Oh, this has just been awesome. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to just connect with me. And I love how nothing is ever by chance. God connecting you and I is just powerful. And I'm excited to see where God even continues to take it. I will definitely post your Instagram in the comment section as well, so people can follow you at that point. But you guys, I encourage you to reach out to her and just see what God might do through you as you lean into finding your purpose of knowing that you are created for something so much more. So with that being said, you guys, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you for listening to The Purpose Effect. If today's episode spoke to you, share it with a friend. Subscribe. We're on all major platforms. Help us spread the movement of living a purpose-driven life. And remember, you're called, you're capable, and you're created with intention. Now, go and live it.